Good morning, good evening. This is Kiran Rai here reporting for the New York Press News Agency. Today it is a Friday and we have Suhail Shaheen, the Taliban spokesperson in the Qatar. Mr. Shaheen, good afternoon, good evening. How are you, sir?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you. Fine, I'm okay.
Great.
I hope you are well. Thank you.
Yes, very well. So first of all, Mr. Shaheen, I'm going to get straight into the interview. I think it's very important. Obviously, what's happening in Afghanistan at the moment, to me, is very sad what's happening. I would like to know from you what's exactly happening in Afghanistan and what's happening, the circumstances, etc. If you can just elaborate on what's going on.
There was a very painful or horrendous incident yesterday, as you may know, at the airport. A lot of our civilian people, our countrymen, were killed as a result of this gruesome incident, and it was very painful. But those routes which were used by foreign forces, which were secondary routes, so those members of Daesh, they had sneaked into the airport to those routes, not those routes which are checked and controlled by our forces.
Now, obviously, yesterday was a very saddening, for America, but also the world. My question to you is, obviously, the Taliban, obviously, everyone's having their own kind of power, etc. But, when it comes to women's rights, Mr. Shaheen, I have to ask you about this. Women's rights, people are fleeing Afghanistan. People are saying, you've given Biden, is it 7 days? 7 days you've given Biden to evacuate all the troops, etc. Do you still continue with that? Are you able to give Biden a bit more time, or are you still sticking to 7 days?
So that 7 days was the commitment and the announcement they have made. President Biden made that he will withdraw his forces from Afghanistan by 31st August. This is their announcement, not ours. So what we are saying, we are abiding by the agreement, what we agree, and what we have a commitment. The other side also should abide by their commitments. But of course, when they finish the occupation phase, and in a second phase, we welcome them that they come to Afghanistan, have their participation in investment in the reconstruction of Afghanistan, in bilateral relations and with Afghanistan. That is welcome. But now, as soon as we they finish the occupation, I think it is better for both countries because it will open up the way for a new relation, a positive relation, and we will leave behind a chapter of enmity, hostility, and enter a new chapter.
You've been all over the news recently, and you've been saying to some reporters here, Taliban has now changed. What exactly has Taliban changed about? Because from what the videos that we've seen, Mr. Shaheen, I have to respect, obviously, I know you're the spokesperson of the Taliban, but I also need to understand that the whole world is obviously very concerned what's happening in Afghanistan. My question to you is, what has changed about Taliban? You say that, Taliban has changed, is different from the 1990s. What is so different now?
I can talk about our programs. We are our priority was that to liberate our country. Secondly, we want to form an Afghan inclusive government in which all Afghan personalities have participation. Thirdly, we are focusing on education, both for male and female. And also we want all those officials and employees of the former Kabul administration to come to their jobs, to resume their jobs. So we have announced a general amnesty for all. There is no revenge on anyone. Their life and property is safe. We are also focusing on reconstruction of Afghanistan rebuilding of Afghanistan, and also providing a comfortable life for the people of Afghanistan. At the same time, we want a positive relation, good relation with neighboring countries, regional countries, and all countries of the world on the basis of mutual respect and mutual interest. Now, I leave this to you, whether about change or not change. I have no comment, but this is our policy. You can judge it for yourself.
Right. And also, what's the relationship between Afghanistan and the UK? Because obviously in London here, we have millions of Afghanistan people now who are refugee coming here to this country here, obviously into the US and into Europe, etc. And yeah, so what's the relationship between the UK and Afghanistan at the moment?
It's up to the UK. If they want to have a positive and good relation with us, they are welcome. But in the past 20 years, of course, their troops were here in Afghanistan. They were involved in destruction and bloodshed of our country and our people. So that was our relation. This was of a hostile relation between the two. But we want to close this chapter. In a new chapter, we will come their investment, their participation in Afghanistan's reconstruction, rehabilitation. So now it is up to them whether they are coming in this new phase of our independent Afghanistan or not. If they come forward, we will reciprocate their positive relation with positive relation from our side.
And recently also, I also have to ask you about the Sharia law. Tell me about the Sharia law that's happening right now when it comes to women's rights. Because I have a couple of friends of mine before the Taliban took over the country. Ghazal Anayat was also one singer. And obviously their careers now are on halt because now obviously the Taliban are involved. They said women can't perform anymore, can't sing, etc. So tell me the rights that women have, really, on truthfully, what rights do women now have in Afghanistan that they don't have before?
Sharia law doesn't restrict women from not having access to their rights. Rather, the Sharia wants them that they have their rights, whether their access to education, into work, and also doing business. They can carry out business activities, but only they observe hijab. This is it. Of course, it is not more about female or women rights, but only about having a job or not having. In Western countries, of course, women do not wear hijab, but in Islamic countries, they wear hijab as per the Islamic rules, as per the Islamic culture. You may have seen even before in the former Kabul administration time, women were wearing hijab voluntarily. So they are doing the same right now. So this is the difference. What one, they should wear hijab. Otherwise, they will have access to work and also education. They can have education from primary and to university.
Now, I need to also ask you another question, Mr. Shaheen. Obviously, as human beings, regardless if we're businessmen, family men, etc., there has to be some sort of remorse. Now, as there was a video of, the airplane, etc., the Air Force One, I believe. I'm sorry, the American flight that flew off from Afghanistan back to America. Now, people were on the wing. Now, if Afghanistan was such a, if the Taliban was such a different, relaxed, sort of, government that trying to become a government, etc., why is it that Afghanistan people are trying to leave Afghanistan if they're so happy or they're going to be so proud of being Afghanistan. Why are they trying to leave? Doesn't that not show to you that the people are scared of the Taliban? They're scared to live under the Sharia law. Maybe we have to, as people, we have to give them their decision and find out if they want to live under our law and try and compromise. What do you think about that?
I think it is more related to the announcement made by the foreign forces that anyone who arrives or reaches the airport, they can be taken into the airplane and to resettle in the Western countries. So many of those who were at the airport, many of them had not worked with the foreigners, but they were common Afghans, only heard the announcement, and they saw this as a golden chance to resettle in the Western countries. So this is about that, and also maybe the plan was, the conspiracy was to show to the world that the people are scared and terrified from us. And so while we have told them and announced them time and again, why you are assembling people, such a huge crowd, there is possibility of attacks, of sabotage activities, which unfortunately happened yesterday, because it is very difficult to check everyone in such a huge crowd. You are also, maybe you will use it as a raw material of propaganda against us, but you have artificially created such scare or some hope, given hope to the people that people come to the airport, who will be immediately taken to the Western countries to resettle there. But at the same time, it carries a risk that therefore that sabotage activities will be carried out, which unfortunately also happened yesterday. Thirdly, we said anyone who has a passport and visas and proper documents are travel, anytime in future, we are committed to allow them to go abroad if they want, or if they want to come to Afghanistan, they can come. So why, what is the need for such gathering such huge crowd at the airport?
You speak on behalf, saying that people can come to the country, etc., and people are willing and people are welcome. Correct? Correct? Am I correct? Right.
Yes. Yes.
So what happened with the Indian photographer journalist Danish Siddiqui that was also killed? Now I need to ask you about that. The Indian photographer journalist, he was killed and he was also left behind. To me, that doesn't seem, with all due respect to you, Salim, that doesn't seem that Suhail, that doesn't seem welcoming to me, that a photographer, an award-winning photographer from India, comes to Afghanistan and then gets killed. And then your response on NDTV was, well, he wasn't following the protocol. Well, he was there to cover. He was there as a journalist. Do you think that's welcome, or do you think what happened with ISIS or the Taliban, etc., how they treated him was badly?
No, it was, he came with the Kabul administration forces, and the forces were launched attack against us, and the fighting started. We didn't know a journalist was among the forces of the Kabul administration, of the security force of the Kabul administration. We didn't know about him, and even it is all not known who killed him. But there was cross firing. He was killed by the Kabul security forces by but there was fighting. He was not specifically targeted as a journalist. So this was the situation. So there are many journalists. We are allowing that they come to our places and file their reports from there. So we are not against journalists, but it was a special case. It was no need that he come with the security forces of the Kabul administration, who were intending to launch attack against us. And actually they attacked us. So if he came separately and saw that I want to file a report in Spitboldak and other places, we will welcome him and provided all the facility he needed.
Perfect. And also my other question to you is, do you also have, what's the next 5 years in Afghanistan? What's happening in the next 5 years? Where do you see Afghanistan revolving economically wise, but also the same time when it comes to peace, etc.?
We want Afghanistan developed, prosperous, peaceful, and tolerant among people among itself, and a peaceful coexistence of the Afghan people with each other, national unity, and participation of all ethnicity of Afghanistan in the protection of the country and serving the people in the country. So we see it that will be rehabilitation, huge rehabilitation work, reconstruction work, and also development work. Maybe if some countries help us, that would be considered a help with the people of Afghanistan. If they do not help us, we of course we will try to stand on our own feet, to rely on our own sources, and also use our natural resources, our agriculture, our location. So we will try to make our people our people's life comfortable and prosperous.
And also, my last question to you, sir. You also said that if the troops, the US troops, don't get out of Afghanistan in 7 days, there's going to be consequences. What exactly do you mean by consequences, Mr. Suhail? What do you mean by that?
I mean, if they do not go or leave, withdraw by August 31st, that means they didn't abide by their commitment. So in that case, it is up to our leadership to decide what to do next.
And what's your message to Biden as well, Joe Biden? Obviously, Joe Biden, his also response to yesterday's attacks with ISIS, with the 12, the Americans actually who passed away with the suicide bomber at Kabul airport. He also said there's going to be, he's not going to stand for that any longer. What's your response to Joe Biden?
I think if there was not an announcement for for people that they should come to the airport, then they will be immediately taken into the planes to resettle in Western countries or to Europe. And if the people were to go abroad through a proper way by having passports and visas and check one by one, that would not have happened. But that announcement brought thousands and thousands of people to the airport, and it was very difficult to check everyone because it is initial day. So this was the result. So our people were killed, they were killed, everyone. It was, such horrendous and painful incident.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, walaikum.
No, please continue. Please continue.
Yeah. And I hope for future, all those who are intending to go abroad, they should go to the proper way of having passports and visa, and there will be no obstacle on their way to going abroad.
And before I go, Mr. Suhail, I need to ask you one last question. Can you promise today, that there'll be no more terrorism from Afghanistan in the US and the UK and in Europe? Can you promise today that you will keep peace with all the countries if we keep peace with you? Because at the end of the day, we can go back and forth. We can fight. We can do this. We can do that. We can get angry. We can retaliate. But we need to work if you're going to be part of our world and our as our system, as a government, etc. And now obviously you have the power in Afghanistan. Can you promise today there's going to be no more terrorism in the future with ISIS when it comes to Afghanistan, but also at the same time in the US and the UK and the Europe? Can you promise that today, sir?
Yes, this is on the basis of the Doha Agreement. This is our commitment not to allow anyone, any entity to use the soil of Afghanistan against the United States, its allies in other countries.
And also the UK.
We still, also UK, yes. Other countries means other UK, because it is very important for us. Because if you want to have a durable peace in Afghanistan, if you want to have a reconstruct our country and provide a prosperous life for our people, so it is very much needed for us that to ensure no one use the soil of Afghanistan against other countries. It is also our commitment in Doha Agreement, and we consider this in the interest in our national interest. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum, Mr. Suhail. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good day. Thank you. Bye-bye, Mr. Cheers.